Good day everyone. Good day sir. So in this video, I am going to present my midterm portfolio and proof eduk 10 under this qualification, housekeeping and C2. Once again, I am Geraldine Gonzalez Sobero of VTVTED FSM 3A. So before let's start with the part of this portfolio, I will introduce first the simple introduction or the purpose of this portfolio. This portfolio is a compilation of all the activities I have prepared and implemented as a trainer in Proof Eduk 10. It includes the training needs analysis, Form 1.2 and 1.3, training plan, training facilities table, trainees record book, progress sheet as the final activity. This portfolio serves as a formal documentation of the training process I facilitated for my trainees, showcasing their learning progress, skill development, and overall their performance. It also reflects my role and commitment as a trainer in guiding, assessing, and supporting my trainees throughout their learning journey. So first, I will show you the table of contents or the list of all the sections and contents of my portfolio in order by helping the readers or the instructor rather to easily locate specific parts of my portfolio. So next, let's now focus on first activity in Proof Eduk 10, which is according to the qualification I choose, which is focused on housekeeping and C2, on the training needs analysis or the TNA. First is the introduction of my TNA. It is to discover the current practices, skills, challenges of my respondent. Next, focus on respondent profile or the summary of the learner characteristics. So next, move to survey result, which is called the tabulated or meaning. I identify how yes or not answer according to the survey of my respondent. Next, for my conclusion, my TNA, and also for my recommendation. So in the second to the last of my TNA, I also include the photo documentation while I am conducting a survey. And to the last part of the appendices of all the completed forms, or these appendices will set as a references or evidence that I finished conducting a survey. So for next activity, which is focusing on identifying training the gaps or needs, or the TNA 1.2 and 1.3. So for 1.2, I will identifying the training gaps, and for 1.3, I will identify the training needs of my respondent. So first part here is to identifying the training gaps of my respondent. So for Form 1.2, I will identify the competency versus the required competency of the trainee for my respondent 1 until to respondent 10. So for next form, from result 1.3 or the TNA 1.3 under the basic, common, and core competencies, I identify the training needs of the trainee and also the discussion of all the training need of the trainee for 1.3. So let's come now with the training plan. So this activity or the training plan from respondent 1 to 10, the purpose of this is to identify the needs of the trainee, the strength, and their areas for improvement. It also ensures that each trainee achieve that required competency and they will perform well in their assigned task in housekeeping. So in this training plan, I also include the trainee, which is my respondent, and also the trainer, which is me, and also I include the nominal duration, and also for the activity, I also include the trainee's training requirements, training activity, task, mode of the training, staff, facilities, tools, and equipment, and also the venue, assessment methods, and also the date and time that will conduct. So let's come now with the next, which is training facilities table. So in this part, I include the list of tools, equipment, and materials that required in every workstation for housekeeping and C2. Like for example, I choose the respondent 9 because this respondent with the most number of identified training gaps or needs to be trained. And I also include the trainee's training requirements, the training activity task, and also the tools, equipment, and materials. Next, let's come now focus on training facilities. So this area, which is training facilities, so this is a recommended space requirements for the various teaching and learning areas. I also include here the teaching learning areas, size in meters, and the total of square meters in training facilities. So let's move now in this part, which focus on trainee's record book or the TRB in activity 2. So I focus on respondent 9. So in my activity, I also include the respondent profile, instruction, school mission, vision, school faculty and staff, unit of competency, learning outcome, task activity required, data accomplished, and also the supervisor remarks. So the purpose of this is to record the trainees' learning progress, activities, and their achievements during the training. It also serves as a proof of the skills and competency they've gained throughout the training or the program. So next, let's come now move with the trainees progress sheet. So as I said earlier, I am focusing on my respondent 9, which have the most number of training gaps or needs that they need to train. So for my activity file that I submit, I also include this part, which is unit of competency, learning outcomes, training activity, training duration, the that started and finished, rating, trainees initial, and also the supervisor initial. So the purpose of this trainees progress sheet is to monitor and documents the learning and skill developed of the trainees. It also tracks competencies, record achievements, guide training, support, ensures accountability, and provide as evidence of completed requirement for the program certification. That's all, sir, and thank you for listening.